Hello.
Hey.
So welcome back to Obscure Undead. It is another week, and this is your album reviews.
Yeah, these are your album reviews.
So this week we've got 3 great reviews for you. 3 great albums.
Well, 3 great albums. The reviews are kind of shit, but whatever.
But the albums are great.
Yeah.
So we have LEDING, we have Rain to Rust, and
The KVB.
the KVB. Come back.
Well, who are you?
Oh, I'm Mouse.
I'm Azzy.
What, did we not say that?
No. All right, let's get to it. All right, so tell us a little bit about the KVB, since this one was your pick.
It was my pick. So the KVB was formed in 2010, which is old as far as post-punk revival bands go.
Well, I think that's some of the earliest that you can get for a post-punk revival band, right?
By Nicholas Wood and Kat Day. Even though they came from the UK, they live in Berlin now. And they have plenty of music under their belt. And they have a new EP out called Submersion. It's really hard for me to say.
And the cover is like clouds and mountains and shit.
As you do when you're a post-punk band.
And have put out an album of really sleepy tracks.
Sleepy tracks.
Well, they're pretty submersion tracks. Like,
Submerged tracks.
they're submersive.
So, this is a very short EP. It's got 5 tracks on it, but only 2 tracks are not remixes. So the first 2 tracks, you could look forward to hearing the KVB signature sound.
Yeah.
Well, just to describe them, they have some Spotify poetry.
Yeah, let's read their Bandcamp poetry.
They don't have any Bandcamp poetry. They have nothing on Bandcamp.
So it's Spotify poetry?
Yeah, I had to find it on Spotify.
Oh.
You put it wherever you put it. That's what bands do. So they say, like a hazily remembered dream. UK duo, the KVB, blend reverb-soaked shoegaze with minimalist electronic production to create their delicate and ephemeral sound.
Yeah, no, that's pretty spot on.
Yeah. Good.
That's pretty spot on. Usually we don't get poetry that's that spot on.
I like the reverb-soaked shoegaze because, like, that's the definition of shoegaze anyway.
They just restated the definition of shoegaze.
Yeah, but that's poetry for you, you know, just add words that don't actually mean anything. So the first 2 tracks, original tracks, Submersion and Outlands.
I did really like Submersion. I thought that it was nice.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, well, the entire album was beautiful, but I felt like towards the end, even though it was 5 tracks long, when I got to the final track,
You were done.
I was done.
So I don't know how I felt about the remixes. I'll get there. But the first 2 tracks, Submersion and Outlands, they have a somber, twangy tone, like a light.
I thought they were very like indie shoegaze, post-punk sounding.
Yeah, but the indie part of it was very twangy.
Yeah.
Jesus and Mary Chain is what it reminded me of. With their like almost emotional vocals. Emotionless vocals. Because it's kind of like you've got your poppy indie pop bounce to it, but the vocals are just like deadpan, which I loved.
Isn't that also just shoegaze?
Yeah, you're right. It is. That's just part of the whole aesthetic. The earlier albums are true to that as well. You've got some upbeat tempos in a lot of their music, but these 2 songs seem to be a little bit more peaceful than that. I think.
A little bit more melty.
And then the next couple of remixes threw me off because, like, this track Into Life was very, like, alternative, kind of.
Well, it is called Alternative Version.
Oh, that's where I got the word alternative. Sorry, I thought that was my notes. Very chill indie disco almost. Did you get, like, a disco vibe from it?
I have to admit, I didn't listen to this album more than twice. Well, that's not true. I listened to the first 2 tracks a bunch. I didn't really care for the remixes. I felt like they were a little bit too indie pop.
They were just tacked on. The Into Life track had some like whispery vocals that reminded me of Xeno and Oaklander. The On My Skin one was very like minimal piano, but I don't think there was any vocals to it at all. So it was just kind of background music the last couple of tracks.
It felt like it went on. It was 7 minutes and
7 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, the last track. Oh,
the last track, yeah, On My Skin. I felt like if I was like sleeping or like taking a bath or something like that, that would be a great track to put on, but
it sounded like it would be like the closing theme to like a Portlandia show. You know, like I don't know. It was, they could have done without the remixes. So I think I mean I love the KVB, but I think they should just stick to their own tracks instead of tacking on the remixes so that you have a full EP. Just sit on those songs until. Well, I mean, there's bands that put out just
release a single. Yeah,
and a B-side.
I really wanted to like the remixes more, but I did like Submersion and Outlands.
Good. Then you still like the KVB. At first, I was in the kitchen making a mess,
as you do. What'd you drop on your foot?
It was an egg.
Oh, this was your egg story.
Okay, hang on. So I'm in the fucking kitchen, and I'm like cooking, and like I didn't have enough room on my stove because I had something else in a pot. I was making ramen the night before, so there was like noodles in a pot, and then so my frying pan there was something in the middle. I can't remember what it was. It was like an old carton of milk or something that I just put in my coffee. It wasn't sitting there for a long time, I swear.
Okay.
And then the handle, like I hit the handle, and I thought I was going to die. Because I already had one egg in there. So the other egg flew out of my hands. I don't know where it went. It went like up or something. And I just backed away because I knew it was going to land on my foot. And by my backing away, it landed on my foot. It is the grossest feeling in the entire world to have an egg break on your foot. End of story.
Okay. Cool.
Disgusting.
Hey, Mouse.
Disgusting.
Would you like to face me? Thank you. Now I can look into your eyes. I have.
I only looked this way so I can fix them. Okay.
Just burp. Burp. Done.
Well, that's all I want to say about the KVB. I thought they were decent, but okay, so I went to the kitchen. I was in the kitchen, I was listening to it, and
yes.
I heard the remixes, and I was so confused because I thought the KVB had changed their sound. But they hadn't. They just had remixes.
Okay.
By the Holy Drug Couple and Minami Deutsch. And,
cool.
They didn't need those.
So, that's the KVB.
Yep.
Awesome.
Rain to Rust.
So this is their album, Flowers of Doubt. This came out on October 2nd, so at the beginning of this month. It is an 8-track album. And, so in the first couple of tracks, this is going to sound so weird, it's going to be a very weird descriptor. It felt like a mellow Billy Idol.
Okay. like Billy Idol from like the late 90s?
Yeah.
Sure, maybe. His voice is amazing.
Yeah.
A clear, mellow voice. This band is from Turkey, by the way. This was written, performed, recorded, mixed, and mastered by Mert Yildiz.
Cool.
So, normally a one-man band, which
Yeah.
I always admire because they put so much work into it. And you can't even tell.
I was actually very surprised to find out that this was a one-man band.
It is very well done. It sounds like a full band. You have all the instruments. And being from Turkey, I really love their songwriting ability.
I think you instantly love any band from Turkey, though.
I mean, yeah, I do. I mean, there's not that many. Maybe he's friends with. She passed away in Jacuzzi and Mary's funeral.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe they're all.
Let's
buddies.
just assume everybody's friends.
They're all buddies.
Everyone should be friends.
They should be. Friends.
So the title track though is the track that the album opens with, and I think that this was my favorite track.
I
on
think
the
that
entire
was
album.
that has to be the standout track on the album.
It is. It's definitely
Flowers of
the
Doubt.
jammiest.
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 I love jam.
I know you do.
There's some intricate guitar work there. There's a mid-song guitar solo. You know, it's a little 90s, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, but
that's a really great song. It's really catchy.
But it definitely hits some of that like indie post-punk. I felt like the rest of the album got a little bit more indie than the first half.
It did. Not that that's bad.
It's not a bad thing. We're just commenting. It's just there's a difference between like gothier post-punk and indie or post-punk.
And we're always searching for like that perfect goth record. And then you listen to it and you're like, it's not really as dark as I wanted it to be, but still quality work. Drinking the Ghosts was a really cool song, and I think that was about drinking.
I like Time and Time Again.
Time and Time Again. Isn't that like a Cyndi Lauper song?
No, I think that's Time After Time.
Okay. There's the song Burnt to Light. That's right in the middle, track 5. That's a groovy, slower track. I really liked it. I thought it was beautiful. A nice wash of guitar.
No, the guitars just in general on the album, along with Mert's vocals, were just very, very nice.
Guitars and bass. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Bass is always great.
Yeah, but not one over another. Like if it had more bass, I would have liked that a little bit more.
I think that comes with being a goth, is you just always want more bass.
Is that what, really?
That's how I feel. I mean, give me a band with a strong bass line and I'm happy.
Like a wailing bass line and it's almost like death rocky. Could be.
I just want something that just slams, you know?
Slaps!
No, not slaps. I don't want a slapped bass. I want a slammed bass.
I want a song that slaps.
Okay.
I just want to listen to a song that I love so much
and say
that
this
I
shit
can actually
slaps.
say, that's what I want to do. I've not experienced that yet.
Really?
No. I've not experienced something that makes me so excitedly giddy that I jump out of my shell and I say, this shit slaps. It's coming for me one day. One day.
Yeah, the problem is that it'll probably come for you the day that saying shit slaps is no longer cool.
No, I know. By the time I get to say the phrase, I'll be like 10 years behind. I'll be like, this shit slaps.
You're kidding.
I'm like, wait for it.
He's like waiting for the perfect song.
Don't curse me like that.
You cursed yourself.
I did.
It only said 10 years. I was thinking like next month.
You think it's gonna be out so soon?
It's slang, probably.
Oh. Well, my favorite slang phrase at the time is "as you do," and I hope that never goes away because I say it all the time.
As you do.
As you do.
All right, getting back to the album. So
I did like the song "My Demons Drive."
that was a good song, and then when It Hurts, the last track came on, I kind of felt the album could have ended on track 7. For Demons Drive.
I actually don't remember For When It Hurts.
Yeah, that's how I felt every time it came on. Like, and I don't mean that in like a mean way. It's just
the songs should be memorable, otherwise it could end up being a B-side. So there's there's this thing about like the flow of albums. So like if track 7 was a strong song, it could have ended there.
Because track 8 kept coming on, For When It Hurts kept coming on. I was just like, oh yeah, the album's not over yet. Because I did think that My Demons Drive was just a really good song.
Maybe it's an epilogue that's too long.
Maybe.
Like when movies end and you're like, oh, that was a good movie, the last scene. And then there's one more scene and you're like...
It goes on for another 20 minutes.
Like that movie AI.
Have I seen that movie?
It's stupid.
Is that the one with Will Smith? No, that's iRobot.
It's, the kid from The Sixth Sense is like...
I'm sorry, I just realized we're getting off on a tangent again.
That's what we do. Ministry is in that. Is Ministry or it might be KMFDM? Fuck, I don't even remember what stupid band was in it. I think Ministry was in it.
Okay.
It might be some other band. I don't know. But Jude Law was in it, and it's just this little boy as a robot. And I don't even remember.
Oh, I think I saw a movie with Robin Williams that was exactly that thing.
I don't know.
Anyway, I really do think that the best album track on this album was Flowers of Doubt, the title track.
I agree.
That was a very good song.
I agree.
I really enjoyed it. I would
best song on the album.
Totally try to spin this.
That's why it's track 1.
That's why it's track 1. You say that the best track usually tends to be track 2, but in this case it was track 1.
That is true.
Yeah, but
That's true.
I danced to it. It's great.
Me too.
I love it.
I dance like this.
That's not true. You do this whole thing. And you shake your butt. I've seen it.
Shake my butt.
You shake your butt. Oh, cool. I'm going to read the comment by Post-Punk Monk, because I like the name.
Oh, Post-Punk Monk!
The crepuscular sound was well served by the darkly understated delivery of Yildiz, who sang without any heavy-handed theatrical affectations. The straightforward presentation served the songs very well. The music could be said to straddle the line of demarcation between post-punk and the earliest flowerings of goth. Before it became a stylistic straitjacket. Full review here, postpunkmonk.com.
Yeah, I did read it.
I did not.
I did read it. So he did mention about drinking the Ghosts, which is a strong track, and he also mentioned the vocals were not overly theatrical. I do agree with that.
I do agree with that.
And I like that. I like that. So that's what the KVB does. That's what Yildiz does. And it's just... I like vocals that you can barely hear the emotion, and then when it does crack, you're like, that's hot.
Oh, see, then I go listen to, like, Sex Gang Children just to listen to them scream.
Well, yeah, that's a whole different aesthetic. That's when you're going for, like, theatrics. You listen to something incredibly crazy.
All right. But yeah, this album, you can get it on Bandcamp. You can get it anywhere. It's on Spotify.
Walmart.
Oh, God, no. Don't go to Walmart. So that actually brings us to our very last album, which was Azzy's favorite album of the week, which was LEDING, The Invisible Man, which was released on October 1st, so we're still sort of scraping the beginning of the month here, because just a lot of good music is coming out this month. And this album is Christ Ian LEDING on vocals, guitars, and bass guitar, and Steve Leafs on drums.
And when the full band is there, which they said is the new album, features the full band, you also have Thomas Simon on bass guitar.
On bass guitar, yeah.
So he's based out of Germany, and even before I saw that, you can tell with the songwriting that they're from Europe somewhere.
Okay.
That they're not from the US.
Okay.
There's just a different style of song arrangement when it's based outside of the US.
I'd say that's true. I think it's because when artists hang out with each other, they tend to...
Yeah, it's like...
Sure, it's great. It's collaborative in kind of a way. I don't know. But the first two tracks on this album could be skipped.
Why are they in the beginning?
Why is Epilogue track 2?
Why is Epilogue track 2? And it's 7 minutes long.
Yeah, and...
Maybe they made a mistake. Maybe they just gave all the music to their dude who put stuff on Bandcamp and the songs are out of order.
Maybe, but that was very weird. So track 1 was Log In, which...
That sounds like a beginning, opening,
sounds like
intro
a beginning,
song.
Opening track. And then track 2 was Epilogue, and I honestly would skip both of these when I went to like re-listen to the album. I just like boop boop.
I don't remember if there's any vocals in Epilogue. There might be a little bit.
I don't recall any vocals.
But, you know, most people when they listen to an album only listen to the first 2 tracks. That is not indicative of the rest of the album.
No, because the rest of the album is amazing. I loved this album. So Echoes of Summer, a jam.
Echoes of Summer is a jam. I thought that this one felt a little bit 80s, 90s MTV alternative.
Yeah.
There were some parts of it that sounded like, not a new wave band, but like
They kind of had like an 80s, it was almost wave, but it wasn't quite wave.
It wasn't quite wave, like so.
And I'm trying to think of a good comparison band for that.
That's me going back to Jesus and Mary Chain and like Simple Minds and like, I mean, I call them MTV bands and that's probably bad, but this is where I heard these bands for the first time. Mm-hmm. And but pop for adults, it was like,
I wouldn't go so far as to say pop because that's a dirty word to me.
I don't know a replacement for it, but it's a jam. I mean, if that's what you want to call it.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Echoes of Summer. Can I say that it's a lighter sounding, like it even like matched the title. Like it just reminded me of like summer and being young, and it was retro aesthetic.
Yeah.
But all with guitars. There are no synths to be found on this, so it's you've got your guitar rock, which is very enjoyable. So if you're thinking about more alternative bands like the Jesus and Mary Chain, I felt those elements were strong in this song.
Soul Whisperings and Insomnia, I didn't really remember so much because after those was Graveyard Scene, which
that was more standout.
Loved that track. That was my favorite track on the whole album.
The songs got darker.
Yes, the songs got darker as the album went on.
So that was the saving grace, and I'm actually glad that I waited until track 4, 5, 6, because you can't really judge it on the spirit of tracks 1 through 3.
Right.
But maybe to try to sell the album, they put more accessible songs in the beginning.
Maybe.
But the latter half of the album is darker. If you're going for darker, like goth rock, those are those tracks.
Right, and I'm trying to remember which track was the singles track, the single track before the album came out. I didn't write it down.
The single? It should be right next to it. Oh, it's not.
No,
The Invisible Man.
Was it The Invisible Man? I don't think it was.
So Lucid Dreams came out in February 2019, and that was a full album with no songs that are repeated on this album.
Right, no, I cannot remember what the single track on this was.
Where did you see
It might have been
singles?
no, like, you know how when an album is up for pre-order?
Oh.
The teaser track, that's the word. I don't remember what the teaser track was, but I remember listening to it and being really, really excited for this album.
There isn't a way we can find out?
I don't know. And so, like, listening through it, I really did feel like this album just overall had not more of a post-punk vibe, but I did feel like it kind of has like a really classic goth rock vibe, like what I wish the Mission was more in places.
I was trying to place his voice and what it reminded me of.
The only thing I could think of was the Mission.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
But the thing is, I don't like all of the Mission, and this is for me kind of what I wish the Mission would have sounded like. So I did really like this album.
That's awesome.
The Invisible Man and Pale Sun were also really good tracks, but honestly, I don't think anything can top Graveyard Scene for me.
Nope, that's the pinnacle right there. I think the one Bandcamp comment also mentions that Graveyard Scene was the one to go for.
Oh, that was their favorite track too.
Old school goth rock at its best. Reminds me of Chameleon's Little Nemo. See,
with a touch of new wave. Yeah, because it kind of has a touch of wave. Yeah.
So I wasn't wrong. Well,
okay, so one other person agrees with you. Oh, I agreed with you.
No, well, see, because I feel like if I say new wave, like
you think synths,
you
right?
think synths.
But no, this does kind of that new wave vibe without the synths.
Well, there was a lot of like British new wave that had those like light, airy guitars, but were not synths at all.
Yeah, but it felt like later 80s.
Yeah, later 80s, early 90s. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or like Manchester. Alternative, like the Stone Roses and stuff. So I could listen to all that. I love all that. But The Mission is a much better reference. The Mission.
I mean, I guess that was kind of in that same time period, late 80s,
The Mission
early
UK.
90s. Yeah.
It's all bundled up in the same thing. So Graveyard Scene. Good job. Did we decide if it was Christian or Christ-Ian? Christian.
Maybe it's Christian.
Christian, with a space in the middle.
Yeah,
that's clever.
Maybe it's Christian. Maybe it's a delay.
We should ask him.
We should. Although the last time we asked someone something on Bandcamp, they didn't get back to us until we actually reviewed the album.
Oh no, that's true. Yeah, until like way after.
Yeah, that was Annex.
What did Annex say?
That Bajo is just bass, and that a Bajo sexto is a 6-string bass that is popular in like northern Mexico.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's what you were trying to tell me.
I don't remember what I was trying to tell you.
And then Thimian got back. Oh, to say that I already forgot. To say that his band name is pronounced Thymian.
Thymian.
Like the herb. Thyme.
That makes sense because doesn't it translate to time? It does.
Thymian nuts.
Oh, okay.
So let's see. Are we facing each other now?
Yeah.
Hi.
I've got a secret. What's the secret?
We finished our album reviews.
We did, so we would like to thank our Patreon members as per usual at this point in the video.
As per usual.
As you do.
What's the other phrase? That shit slaps.
Oh, God, that. Oh, I thought you meant something else.
No, I have to wait for a real opportunity to throw that down.
Oh, I like that we have a new poster on the wall behind us.
We do?
Yeah, it's that one. just lean. Just lean.
I was gonna try to
Lean more.
Oh my god!
Right there.
No, I was gonna try to do it in like forced perspective. I can't do it now.
Anyway, we would like to thank our Patreon patrons who give us money to keep making these episodes, which is really great. So thank you, Skull
We love
Girdle.
you.
We do love you.
Thank you, Acid Bitter.
Thank you, Cadaver Kelly.
Thank you, Dia Siculus.
Thank you, Bathrazov.
Thank you, David Zoiser.
Thank you, Junkyard Bat.
I screwed you up.
Yeah, you did.
Thank you, Libby.
Thank you, Max Shrek.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you, Demetria.
Thank you, Uncle Fester.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, Ian.
Thank you, Mason Shiver.
Thank you, Sibaris.
Thank you, Generic Jackal.
I think that's it.
That's it. Okay. Check us out at obscureundead.com, Instagram,
Facebook.
and here, smash things, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.